What's going on, guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am now 8 weeks post-show. Stop right there. This is me in editing. I am in fact not 8 weeks post-show. I was actually 11 weeks post-show, and I don't know why I thought I was 8 weeks post-show, but I most definitely was not. I was 11. I swear I feel like more time has passed than that, because more time has passed than that, an extra 3 weeks. I don't know where those 3 weeks went. So much has happened since finishing competing. I've done so much that like it really feels more than 8 weeks. I only realized it was 8 weeks when I went back and counted, and clearly I counted wrong. So this is week 8 of my reverse diet diaries. I'm just continuing this series because you guys enjoyed it so much and you just like me kind of like keeping you updated on how I'm going with my progress, my weight gain, my fat gain. And in case you guys don't know, obviously I just got back. I'm 1 week post holiday. So this is the first proper holiday I've had in a long time. And by holiday, I also mean 10 days of not tracking my food, not weighing myself, not training, and just really actually going on a holiday. The only thing that didn't change is I still worked. So obviously I brought my laptop with me and I was still doing work. So it's not a holiday in the sense that I don't work, but I am so fortunate and blessed that I'm able to take my work around the world with me. So I was more than happy to do so. And I just feel so much more productive with work when I'm actually working away, because I schedule my time so much better. I really make use of every opportunity I have to have really productive work blocks, and I don't procrastinate because I know that I need to really concentrate for the 1-2 hours prior to going out for the day, coming back for a little break, again, focusing for another 1-2 hours, preparing for dinner, things like that. So I am actually way more productive when I work away. So that's definitely a good thing when I'm traveling. But I guess the main thing you guys would want to know is, how did my body change after my 10-day holiday? First of all, I hope you guys have enjoyed the travel vlogs. I really wanted to share that part. I think it's important. Obviously, some of you may not enjoy that content, but I want to share that I'm also normal and I do really normal things, and I also eat like a normal person. I enjoy food, and sometimes I go without training. That was the most mentally hard thing for me. I haven't not trained for 10 days in a row for like years. I don't even know the last time I didn't train for 10 days in a row. It's actually wild to me how I just didn't train for 10 days in a row. There was a lot of good things that came out of that. Obviously, blue light exposure to my eyes have decreased significantly whilst on holiday. I just like spend less time scrolling, less time watching shows on my laptop. So obviously much less blue light exposure to my eyes. I was outdoors so much more. Even though it was cold and winter, I got lots of sunshine, lots of sunlight, and obviously that's really great for your melatonin production as well as your vitamin D as well. I got in lots of activity from walking. So I did a lot of walking. I did like 22,000 steps a day kind of thing. Obviously my serotonin was up because I was just like having a great time with my friends. I made great memories. There's a lot of really good healthy foods that I did eat. Obviously, if you did watch my vlogs, you know that I still tried my best to make sure I got some amount of protein. It is nowhere close to the amount of protein that I would eat normally when I am back home here, but it is, the protein I have when I'm here is still way more than the minimum required. So I'm on a high protein diet, have been on a high protein diet for a long time. So I try to just eat the bare minimum protein if I could. You know, and I try to make it come from good high quality sources. Just, you know, I love beef, so lots of different cuts of beef. Obviously some's more fatty than others. I ate a little bit more pork than I would normally, but I feel like the pork's a really good quality in Japan. Also lots of eggs, lots of salmon, lots of seafood, lots of tuna, lots of unagi eel, which I love. So obviously got in my protein there. With carbs, I am rice obsessed. I just love Korean and Japanese rice. So whilst I was there, I just had so much rice, and I just really gave myself full freedom to like eat all the rice I want because it's like clean. Obviously the kelp consumption has gone up a lot as well with all the seaweeds and stuff that I did have. So overall, even though I enjoyed a lot of foods, some of them were still quite healthy, but the calories were obviously way higher than what I would normally consume. So obviously I'm going to be gaining some fat. Now I think Fortunately, now that I'm back and I've had a week to see my body rebalance out, I don't think I've gained that much fat. I estimate that I gained about 1 kilo of fat, and I estimate that I lost about 1 kilo of lean mass. So overall, after coming back, my weight did not change at all. So I think there is a combination of stuff. Obviously, I put myself in a really good position prior to leaving, and I say really good position in quotation marks because I wasn't dieting prior to this, so my body wasn't deficient in anything, deficient in food or calories or whatever. I was just like basically living my best life in December prior to leaving. So my weight was already up before I left. So obviously I had plans to keep it as low as possible prior to the trip, to allow some buffer for myself to gain the weight then. But I just ended up gaining the weight prior to leaving. And so the weight sort of just like stayed the same because I was already eating a lot prior to leaving. I was already eating out a lot prior to leaving. I didn't have the best nutrition prior to leaving, honestly. So that could be one of the things. Obviously lots of activity levels whilst I'm there. Whilst I'm back here in Perth, I literally sit down on my laptop most of the time when I'm working, so I don't really move around that much. Most of my output is just from training, and sometimes just purposely doing steps. But other than that, I was way more active in Japan. I also had 2 really hectic days of snowboarding and many days of traveling. So like includes flying, taking the trains, taking the bus, and every time I travel, it's just, my body just burns so much calories, either from like the stress or whatever, or just, I don't know, when I travel, I just lose a bunch of weight when I'm traveling. So it's good and bad weight. So sometimes it's lean mass. When I say lean mass, I just mean glycogen in the muscles, obviously water in the muscles, water overall, anything that's not fat. Obviously muscle, that's considered lean mass. So obviously I've lost 1 kilo of lean mass through this whole process. I think the main thing is because I didn't weight train. So when you don't weight train, your muscles just sort of deflate a little bit. So when I came back, I was looking a little bit soft. I was looking a little bit deflated. I just looked a little bit skinny fat. And I definitely looked like I lost some mass. So obviously that was still a little bit hard for me. I am not someone that is really obsessed with staying lean, but I am someone that is really obsessed with keeping my muscle and getting more muscle. So I was a little bit sad, but I was not shocked. I knew that this would for sure happen, but I was glad I didn't put on too much weight. Otherwise, I would be stuck in a hard place of still trying to gain the muscle that I lost back, plus having a lot of excess body fat on me. So I think I had a good medium, even though I added a little bit of extra body fat. It was not too excessive, and when I came back, I could fully just focus on gaining the muscle that I lost back and just refilling my glycogen stores, things like that, and just refilling back out again. So I look nice and round, my muscles are nice and full. So there's different ways of bouncing back from a holiday. It really depends on what your priorities are, and how far backwards you put yourself then. And just know that it'll take a much shorter time to bounce back than it did to sort of get there in the first place. So even though I did lose some muscle, I know that I will get it back pretty quickly. So it is a little bit hard when I first got back because my strength was just plummeted right down, and I was basically like a whole new beginner again, just like almost like a detrained person from just not training for 10 days, because going to the gym and coming back the next day, the amount of soreness that I felt this first week being back is almost like it's the first time I've stepped into the gym. So that was a really hard thing to, I guess, get used to. But there's always pros and cons, because the best thing about being a so-called beginner starting over, or, you know, being detrained, is that you get that nice little phase where you can literally do minimal and your body just like responds to everything because you just haven't done anything for the last 10 days. So if any of you are in a similar situation where you feel like you've lost all your progress, know that you're starting at a point where now like most things will work, as opposed to when you're really consistent with everything and doing everything really well. It almost gets harder and harder for you to actually make progress, whereas when you're detrained, it's easier to sort of like make a little bit of a quicker progress in the beginning, before you hit the same numbers you do and stuff like that again. So I've still been dealing with my lower back injury. My lower back's still been kind of really sore. It's been there prior to me leaving, so I've still been kind of dealing with that injury. I thought it would get better whilst I was away because I wasn't training, because obviously the pain is from overuse in training and obviously going a little bit too heavy and yada yada. a little bit of an ego lifter here. Any of you who followed me on Instagram will know that I've been really going hard at it before I left, hitting PBs, lifting really heavy. So it was just like a little bit of overuse sort of situation. There wasn't one particular thing that like hurt my back. It's just overuse, under recovered, beating myself up a little bit too much. On top of that, when we were traveling, obviously lots of steps, sitting in planes, sitting in little buses and snowboarding made my back a little bit tighter still. And so that's why I'm still not fully recovered from that little niggle. So one of my priorities being back is to try and improve that and make sure I take it easy and not like break my body again. So I've been really focusing on not pushing myself too hard since being back, but I've been really good with my food. And so I think my body and metabolism is in a great place. I'm not focusing on fat loss at all, not focusing on weight loss at all, because like I said, my weight's exactly the same as when I left. So I'm about like 47.4, 47.5 at the moment. My stage weight was obviously around 43.4-ish. So overall 4 kilos up in 8 weeks, exactly where we need to be in this reverse. And I probably will stop calling this a reverse now and just change the series to grow phase. So now that I'm back, I'm going to be focusing a lot for the next 6 to 7 weeks on like really growing and actually pushing food now. So prior I was trying to maintain and not gain too much weight or body fat prior to the trip. But now that I'm back from the trip, main priority is to, grow, bump the calories up, and I do actually want to see my weight slowly go up and still sort of look and stay somewhat lean, fill out my muscles, things like that. So now we are 100% in the grow phase. I've been just bumping up my calories. So basically, if I don't really gain much weight, I just keep bumping the calories up as required, depending on that day's activity. So I set myself a little bracket of calories. So I think one of the days I actually hit 300 grams of carbs. So I just felt like my body needed that day, and the next day my weight sort of maintained. So I think I'm in a really good spot right now in terms of letting my body have a full break whilst I was away when it comes to food and things like that. Ate a lot of carbs, fats, all that kind of stuff. So now it's sort of in, I guess you could call it recomp maybe. Like I might be losing a little bit of fat and slowly filling out my muscles, and that's why the weight has sort of stayed the same. But I'm not, like I said, not trying to push the weight down at all. I want to maintain and recomp or just keep growing and really focus on growing right now. So generally minimum calories are around 2,000 and my highest is about 2,300. That's where I'm currently at. I do eat out maybe 1 to 2 to 3 times a week, but it's been pretty clean so far, all the foods that I've eaten out. My food focus is so low. I literally had like minimal cravings. Appetite is not really crazily, insanely high anymore. Especially with the warm weather, I find when it's hot, I just don't have that much of appetite. So appetite's slowly going down, which is good, but could be an issue in a couple of months. So I remember sometime last year when I was like deep into my growth phase, obviously my appetite was really low. So I had to really keep food volume super, super low and find foods that were just like easy for me to stomach. And I started to really just lose interest in food, just made less effort into like putting nice meals together. I just ate what I needed to eat and just be done with it. So it's good because I just stopped thinking about food that much or really caring about what things taste like, because I just really get to a point where I don't care. Obviously at that point I was still excited to eat out because it's something different, but just kind of getting really sick and over the general foods that I'm eating. But right now I'm in a good in-between. I enjoy all the meals I eat still. Everything that I eat is easy for me to digest. And yeah, digestion is going really good right now. Sleep's been really great as well. But obviously I needed to catch up on so much sleep because I was so sleep deprived in Japan. Just because wake up early, do lots of activities, and then sleep late at nighttime. But I regret none of that. It was so great, so fun. I'm so addicted to snowboarding and I can't wait to like do it again. I'm glad I came back injury free. All of the little niggles I've had was because I've already had them prior and they were not from snowboarding. So that is a plus. Steps I'm not really tracking right now. If anything, maybe steps a little bit lower than what they were prior to me leaving, and definitely way lower than what they were in Japan. So I would like to say, even though I came back looking like a little marshmallow, 1 week post-holiday, I am bouncing back pretty okay, fingers crossed. So I will continue doing these videos for you guys if you like it. So if you like it, please like it, comment, subscribe to the channel, of course, so I can keep making these videos for you guys, and we will continue this series, and obviously just change the name. We're gonna call it my Grow Season Diaries as opposed to Reverse Diet Diaries, and let me know what you want me to talk about, things like that. But I appreciate every single one of you, and I will catch you guys in the next one.